nothing to say, so please ask good questions.
Oh, fantastic. I'm sure I've got a few, but I'm hoping everybody out here.
You got to yell at me because I'm deaf as a damn
I'm
post.
trying. He's not.
Oh, he's working
up
his. He's got
louder.
his doodle going. We're going to cancel each other out though, probably.
I'm choosing to ignore the cuts and bumps and bruises. I'm cruising through these haters, leave them looking stupid. They foolish if they think they'll ever hear my conclusion. I'm through with all these part-timers and their excuses. I'm bruising.
Not at all disconcerting.
All right, welcome back to
Elderly
Maryland.
man confuses all by bitching at audio guy.
I am with the legendary George.
Oh, legendary.
Well, dude,
Too kind.
I had my age.
You're a sweet man.
Yeah, dude, you gave us something to watch and zone out to.
Thank you for
every
watching.
night. It was fantastic.
It's great. I get away with stuff behind a table that I couldn't begin to say at the airport in Baltimore. It's like I got 9 guys waiting to get me. And where was I yesterday? Location 13. Doesn't that sound like something the government did? And some guy who should have been there with a sign that said George Lowe is like on the phone going, "Hey man, I'm on my way. Where are you?" And I'm like, "I don't know where the hell I am. I'm at the airport in Baltimore. Where are you?" Yeah, I just deplaned, and it's like you take your life walking across the bus lane. They're obviously all enjoying some form of stimulant. And I got 40,000 pound nickels coming right at me. Oh my God. It was an eventful trip. And of course, you pray for the guy who doesn't spend the whole flight talking to you.
And you got the guy.
Oh, but I got him, and he was the nicest guy in the world. So what can you do? You know, you blow your voice out a little more. Oh, no problem. Hey, my kid wants to be in broadcasting. What do I tell him? Tell him to go to med school and pick a specialty.
Well, that is one of
Yeah.
the questions that people get asked all the time when they're voice actors is how to get in. And there's real no answer because you
How
guys,
do you do it?
Yeah, you
And,
guys
and
do
then the
it.
ones who are all filthy rich men. Oh, it's a brotherhood. We all love each other. It's just wonderful. We're all best friends. And then you watch them at William Morris going, it's like, that was that son of a bitch that got that thing from George Lucas, wasn't it? He beat me to it.
So a lot of love in the field. If anybody has questions for Mr. Lowe, please yell them out because if you've ever watched him be interviewed, it's hard to get a word in edgewise.
Ask me anything. My life is an open book.
For real. I've got stupid questions that are technical and stuff like.
Is this closed? Is this safe? This is for me.
Absolutely for you. I brought it.
You are famed Native American spirit guide Johnny Big Dick.
You're a legend.
Did I just say that? My apologies. By the way, I'm going for it earlier because it got such a great laugh the first time. Everyone knows my eldest son, Link.
Beautiful. Beautiful
Love
boy.
you. See you tonight, son. I'm very proud of him. He actually now has 6 porno stores throughout the greater Baltimore area. 7? Oh, nice. Nice.
This took a turn.
They got a new one now for guys my age called Failure to Launch. Oh, I'm really sorry, young lady.
This is the right room. You wanted to come see Space Ghost.
Yes, this is what happened to my voice. I went, what? He turned me off. Well, hey, you. Oh, so you think you're Dave Willis, do you? I just had one happen you'll love. Welcome to broadcasting. You want to know what broadcasting's like? My old pal Matt Malero calls me and says, "Dude, I just saw your name in the audition list. I didn't even listen to the others. You're hired. It was for a movie.
Nice.
And then 2 weeks go by, and I'm like, shouldn't I have heard from Matt? Come on in, kids. Don't be shy.
You want to.
This is the Cleaner Hygiene Seminar. We have just finished chapter 3, When to Wipe.
Always front to back.
Sorry.
Front to back.
So 2 weeks go by. I'm like, hey, shouldn't I have heard from Matt? And my agent calls the same day that I was psychically connecting with. Oh, look, he's leaving. Oh, sure, fine. Space Coast's not good enough for you.
All hell Brack.
I think home shopping's down the hall. I get this note from an agent who's like all of a sudden shilling for Matt going, you can release George Lowe.
What's
I'm
that
like,
mean?
welcome to broadcasting. You kids stay in school. Am I the only chilly one right now?
No, it's freezing
gotta
in this
lower
room.
my-
I'm absolutely with you.
Don't get it too hot, boss.
Yeah, because
I'm extra sensitive because right now I'm at the right weight. I'm lactating. So-
Lactating?
so-
Nice.
Oh, by the end of the panel, who wants custard, kids? Come on. Daddy's whipping it up fresh. I'm really sorry. The poor girl back here just threw up in her purse. And we'll save that and make sure it gets to the commissary later for more Hunter stew. By the way, I want to thank the show in particular for leaving out 2-day-old pizza.
It was delicious. That was my pizza from 3 weeks ago.
That, yes, it's 12 hours and they're perfectly safe, unless you ate the one that had a big hunk of chicken on it, in which case you're going to think your dog is Jesus and bossing you around. What's that, Jesus? You want me to go to the meat store and steal all the T-bones? Okay. No problem.
That's Brian, the one who should have been at
He runs. If you have any
location
complaints
13.
and if you have any praises, come tell me.
Little known
I'd
trivia,
like
when I got in the car, he had Rasta music playing and the cloud of smoke that came out of that thing.
So he was a
The
fan back
he
in the
was burning
90s.
rope in there by the metric ton.
They smell like burning rope in here, Brian.
It's okay, man.
Where it's all
Ah,
good.
look, we have more friends coming in who realized, oh, we're missing the old crazy man. Let's go down the hall. Burgeoning panel of now almost 14 people. How about that?
Fantastic.
Let me let you earn your money.
I'm just gonna. I'm not. I'm gonna.
I'm just
work
watching
you-
the old guy ramble on.
Well, that was
Hey, there's my pal Stacy.
I told them all that. I was
Stacy
like,
took a picture of me yesterday. I look like it's like the last thing you see before you go to heaven. She's got this shot of me going to the American Visionary Art Museum, and I'm already exhausted and walking in like this. And Stacy gets me from the back, and I'm like,
sanctuary.
I tell you, sweet, you lying her ass off. I look like the 200-year-old man going in there. It's like, hold on, I think a testicle just shifted. Wait a minute. Very painful. I'm sorry. Yes, my boys are not symmetrical. Just like that jet I flew in on. Jet synchronous, we're not worried about it. Brake manifolds, who needs them? That's for wussies.
But you mean the wheels won't stop at the same time? They're not even?
We had a medical emergency on the flight, I swear. I'd never had that happen, and I know enough about medicine to get in deep trouble. And sure enough, there it comes. It's God punishing you for all the stuff you've seen in your life. I had a friend in Clearwater wanted me to be a doctor. And this is 100% truth. He was crazy, but in a good way. And he would say, oh, you're smart enough. You could do it. Brazilian. So he sounded like I kind of stole Henry for father on the Brack Show. He's like, hey, and he would call me up like kids trading baseball cards. You want to get rid of, trade me Willie Mays for Hank Aaron. And it's both, we got the rookies. You want to trade? He'd call, and it would be like, so have you seen subtotal gastrectomy? And I'm like, no. You know, my other son, ladies and gentlemen, they're Wink. Wink, and
Wink and Link.
Link's hair used to actually be on Wink, but you know, got clean like daddy. I'll see you lads tonight for supper. Don't forget we're having Hunter stew, right fresh out of her purse. So yeah, it was like kids trading baseball cards. Henry would call them, "Hey, how about a bowel resection? Hey, have you seen this?" And the worst one, Henry, I'm in the ER one night, just hanging out. That's how sick I am. I'm hanging out in the ER. One guy came in. Imagine this. Any of you watch the medical shows? Here's a guy with his foot facing forward, and there's an I-beam on either side.
Oh.
You've already guessed it. Loses his balance and falls. So it's a Wink is already running for his life. Get your ass back here. Daddy's not done with the awful story. So as the poor man falls, it rotates up the leg all the way to the greater trochanter, also known as your femur. And it looked like a spiral staircase. Well, I had this. First off, I don't know if there's any such thing as an unfunny Jewish doctor. My friend Shapiro sitting next to me, and he looks at me, he says, "So, George, what do you think we do here?" And I said, "An amp of morphine and call the orthopod?" And he goes, "Very good." Calls the nurse over, "Shirley, 1 amp of morphine for Mr. Johnson out there. Let's get him comfortable. And let's call Dr. Green in." That was it.
I have a mold for you to look at later.
You having
on.
problems?
It's a little
I don't do that anymore.
Oh, damn.
No. I do have a chimp in the room, though, who does one hell of a nice shiatsu massage.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's very comfortable. Stacy's like, "Why did I bring him up here? Why did I do it? I'm regretting it all." Hey, look, it's somebody else coming into Daddy's boring panel. Let's welcome her now. "Why did I go? Why did I do it?" So I had enough medical stuff that when they said, "Is there a doctor or a nurse on the plane?" I'm like, "Please just be chest compressions or something easy, please." Thank God 2 RNs came running from the back of the plane, and the lady was having it. I'm sure, if I had to guess, it was anxiety, but I only looked at her strip once we got to the airport, and I could look and see the paramedics were there, and it was like, beep, 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 beep. So I think she was just freaking out in the plane. Maybe because I was on board.
That's most likely.
"Hello, this is your pilot, Captain Space Ghost speaking. There's no movie on our flight. However, you will see your life flash before your eyes. We'll be flying at an altitude of 400 feet, too. I also moonlight as a crop duster. Thanks for flying Delta." I stole the last 2. I've been known to lift a joke or two. You want to hear a really awful one?
Damn straight.
Guy goes to the doctor. The doctor says, "You got to stop masturbating." The guy says, "Why?" The doctor says, "So I can examine you." Now Stacy's running out of the room. And that's how George spent the night in the jail in Baltimore.
It's funny. They warned me that this had to be G-rated. I was like, "Oh, okay."
I told
You tell him.
I told him when I was coming down the hall, I said, "Please, God, not a room full of Mormon missionaries." Please. "Hello, I'm Elder Johnson." No.
So, have you had a good time here?
It's been great. We had when my sons showed up, we were having a huge blast at the table, and then as fast as those waves start, then they slow down, and I go to the snack room, if you can call it that.
Yeah, I saw you there.
Somebody ought to just make a homemade sign down there and put pathology on the door. That'd be closer to hitting home. And it's like, well, let's see what I'll have for lunch. Oh, I guess I'll have these strawberry
Crackers.
Pop-Tarts, a couple of Oreos, some crunchy Cheetos, and day and a half old friggin' pizza.
I
My
almost
friend
went
Jeff-
for that. I'm glad I
Jeff's
didn't.
helping me. Jeff's sitting next to me at the table, and I'm like, "Jeff, when did you eat it?" He said, "I think I was like 90 minutes. I think it was 90. I think it was 90 minutes before you, George." But everything's fine now.
This is Q&A if you'd like them to ask.
Q&A,
questions.
yeah, man, let her rip. Anything you want. You guys normally
Come on.
I get to blabbing
She
and the
can
whole
do the
thing
whole half
finishes
hour
too
on its
soon.
own.
Yes, ma'am.
So my husband saw you at RetroCon.
Which one?
RetroCon.
Up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. Retro?
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
And I need to hear the Adam West story.
Yeah.
Is this the one that's famous? The one that's so durable where Lowe?
Yes.
Okay.
Ferrigno.
So, and if I'm crying and lying, then I'm dying. So it's a true one. First time I met him was in radio, and we used to get him in and it'd be like, hey, Adam West here. I hope you'll join me at the auto show. And he always talked like that. He told me once, I said, why do you do that? He said, the longer you take to roll the sentence around, that's more time you have on camera. You know, and you feel yourself going over and losing consciousness. Well, I wrote a bit, long version. I wrote a bit in radio. I didn't tell you that part. I had a bad guy. We used to do dialogue stuff all the time with visitors. And I wrote a thing where he was Batman, and I was going to be his arch nemesis, Mr. Drool, who got everything wet everywhere he went. And Adam had a line that was supposed to be, you'll never take me alive, Drool. I'm wearing my extra absorbent bat men's underwear. Adam walks up to me, my hand to God, and he goes, son, and just as nice and fatherly as you would expect, he goes, son, that makes Batman sound as if he's not in control of himself. And I said, right, that's the joke. You're wearing bat adult underwear on top of the purple thing. So he wouldn't do it, you know, and I think I said, see you at the auto show even then, which we used on the show. But many years later, he got hip with us because we had him on Space Ghost, and it was like, you again? Oh, and the history got weirder and funnier and funnier. Well, I didn't get anything like Mayor West. You know, I was the principal voice of the show for a decade, and, you know, I'm lucky if Aqua Teen calls and makes fun of me. And it was always, use your own voice. No, but I was going to do a Clint Eastwood for the mall cop. Hey, you kids, quit screwing around over there at the flower wagon. Go get your free samples at the cheese store. No. Just be you. So they always wanted Space Ghost, no matter what the character looked like. So anyway, we flash forward. We had him on. It was great. I finally got to use my line the 95th time he held the book up. I said, okay, see you at the auto show. He comes up to me one year in Orlando. Actually, I came up to him. He's across the room signing, and I've never seen the man put the pen down. If there's somebody with $1 in front of him, the dollar is going into his pocket first, then we visit. Put the pen down, stood up, gave me one of those grandpa handshakes. I can't tell you how many people saw me on Space Ghost, coast to coast, and it was so wonderful. But by then they had already cast the bastard as they've given him another shovel load of money to go do what's an American Dad or Family Guy? Family Guy.
Family Guy, yeah.
Mayor West. And I'm like, great, I'm glad that worked out for you. By the way, I'll be in Florida doing DJ stuff at Squirt 101. I can handle that. Get a free t-shirt if you're caller 7. Right? No. You're not going to do that. So he says to me, this was one of the first encounters. This is where things went off the rails. He says to me at that show in Orlando, very complimentary, had fun. do me a favor. I'm going to be at the Batmobile later taking pictures with the Batmobile. Would you do the announcements? And I said, sure. I didn't tell you guys this part either, right? So it's new territory for everybody. So I get back to the table. The guy comes over, hands me the microphone that works anywhere. And I start going through stuff like, hi kids, Space Ghost here. Thanks for coming to Stupid Con Orlando, whatever it was. It was not a good show. Thanks for coming to Smell Con Orlando. Thank you for coming to see three giant guys at a card table who smell like cup of soup. .con Orlando. Thanks for coming to Somebody Didn't Bathe Con. So I'm going through the list. It's like at 1 o'clock, it's the My Pretty Pony paddle. At 2 o'clock, it's the Thundercats paddle. At 3 o'clock, meet Adam West and get your picture taken at the Batmobile. And he's just smiling ear to ear, and I took the beat. 3 o'clock, meet Adam West and get your picture with Adam and the Batmobile. And ask him about the dead hooker in the trunk. And I look across the room, and here's Adam. I can't believe you did that hooker in the trunk thing. So like a few months later, I see him in Detroit. I'm going into a restaurant about the time he was there. Mr. West, we have. He took a look at me and he went,
Oh, we lost Mr. Lowe.
I won't eat in this place if he's there. Hey, look at me. I almost found a way.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't be so jumpy. For God's sake, relax. You're a young man.
I was on the plane.
So months go by, years go by. We keep kicking each other in the nuts every time we see each other. And it was one of the simple pleasures of my life, because when I was little, just like everybody else, I'm watching Batman, to the point where I was so little, I was still reading poorly. And I mixed up Cesar Romero one night. And it was an early discovery of the gift of comedy. I broke my mom up because I said, oh, look, Chester Romeo's in this. And she said, it's Cesar Romero, honey. Well, I was a little dyslexic and I didn't know it. But great comedy in that, in its own weird way. So months, years go by. 1 year at Dragon Con, they go, will you be in the parade?
Oh,
yeah. They got 500,000 people on this route. You think it's going to be like three drunk shiners and fezzes waving, and 10 minutes later it's done. This damn thing lasts like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 500,000 people lining the route. And they've got me like in an Aries K Dodge convertible with this horrible dot matrix printed George Lowe, voice of Space Ghost. And people are like, up and down the route, they're doing, who the hell is that? I couldn't see it. I know some guy, George something, Coast Ghost, I don't know. So 2 cars in front of me, they've got my old pal.
Oh, no.
In the Batmobile. And the whole parade, I thought, well, this will be uneventful until at the last minute, some genius comes up and hands me a megaphone. And the good side of my brain is like, no, he's old, he's had his run, he's successful, let him enjoy the parade. And then there's that H.P. Lovecraft side of my brain that's like, oh, go fuck him, go on. If you don't do it, you're a pussy. So I'm behind him with the megaphone, and for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, or whatever it was, I'm going, that is not the real Batman. The real Batman is not 120. The real Batman does not keep tucks and depends in the utility belt. The real Batman doesn't use one side of the utility belt for Miralax. The real Batman doesn't wear adult underwear over, the whole parade. And people are laughing. Even the rich people were laughing. There's a club called the Capital City Club. Every place has one of those. Well, in Atlanta, it is an immensely big deal. My grandfather was in it. He ran Gulf Oil. And he was friends with Dick Rich from Rich's Department Stores. As weird as the times were, my grandfather was the one who put his foot down and said, well, Capital City's going to look awful empty without Gulf Oil's money if someone doesn't propose Dick Rich for membership. And they were looking then, it was one of those old days things where it's like, but George, Dick Rich is Jewish. And they said it like the guy just came out of, another planet or something. Hey, my grandfather got him in, scared the hell out of all of them. Says, well, Gulf Oil puts an awful lot of money in this club. They're in there with Robert Woodruff from Coca-Cola and all. So I'm going by saying all this horrible stuff about Adam West and the nouveau riche, the new money. They're all standing there on the porch going, isn't he terrible? And I even got a couple shots in with them. I'm like, hey, is a club sandwich still $95?
Sure,
so we go through the whole parade. And Adam, like the seasoned killer in the jungle, like the Bengal, waiting for the right moment. Room clears out. Everyone's gone to lunch. Every kid in Dragon Con is outside eating the $42 slice of pizza. Adam waits. I'm sitting next to Lou Ferrigno the whole time. And I was scheduled, by the way, for a cardiac catheter. So Lou thought it would be funny the whole time to tell me heart stories. Oh yeah, I went to my cousin's wedding. And every time I imitate Lou, it sounds like Schwarzenegger, so forgive me. But Lou's like, he still had the profound hearing loss. Then he didn't have the cochlears, which now, God bless him, he got the cochlears. But Lou's sitting there, oh yeah, my cousin got married and got up to do the first dance and heart attack. Yeah, and I had a third cousin, went to another wedding, same thing, ate too much of the dessert. And the next thing you know, heart attack, and Lou's fist doing it. It makes a lot more noise. Lou doesn't know Adam and I have always done this to each other. Better version, right? Better version of the story. So you're me. And there are all the pictures, and Lou Ferrigno's sitting next to me. And Adam comes walking up. The room is a ghost town. And I've just been merciless with him through this parade. The real Batman doesn't take 45 minutes to pee once. Comes up, will not make eye contact, has his assistant, looks at me, doesn't look at me, looks at the pictures. Wow, Fred, his assistant. Wow, Fred, things are really dead here at George's table. Walks off. Lou doesn't know what's going on. Lou just hears Adam say that. And through Lou's profound deafness, you could have heard him in Philadelphia. You're yawning and you ask for the damn story. Seize him. So Lou slaps me on the back and says, don't worry about him. He's an asshole.
That's great.
And I just thought, at the end of the day, I had that moment of clarity. It's like, Batman slams Space Ghost, Incredible Hulk defends me. What a business. What a business. Welcome to the panel, young people.
You guys are a little late.
What you got? That almost looks like a Howard Finster piece.
Yeah.
What's your picture? That's not Howard Finster, right? Wow, look him up from over here. It's almost like you bought a Finster. I hope I haven't been too dirty so far. Who has another question? And
Anybody?
I'll try to expedite. My God, I've almost eaten the whole. I did eat the whole
You
half
are
hour
good
on
at
one
this.
story. What, we got 5 minutes?
I told them.
Lightning round. By the way, I want to see if anyone's bold here. I do a thing every year in Atlanta called Let's Trade Pants. Anybody brave enough? Total strangers change pants with total
I'll do
strangers.
it. I'm not scared.
No.
You
No one gonna
down
do it?
with these pants?
Okay, let me get this man.
Oh, I said, did you have any control over the interviews, the Space Coast interviews, or did you ever pick anybody to interview?
I'm so deaf. I left my hearing aids back home. Did what?
Did you have a choice in who the interviews were?
Sometimes, like one time, because I was still doing radio, and Fred Schneider was up at my station one day, and he was in kind of bored radio station. Another one of these. Oh, great! But somebody turned the corner and said, "Hey, Fred, meet George Lowe. He's Space Ghost." And it was like listening to one of the records. I swear, Fred goes, "I love that show." It's like, say 10 Roof Rusted. But I called the network. I got Matt Harrigan, my old buddy, and I said, "Matt, I got him here. He's willing to come downtown. Do you want Fred Schneider from the B-52s? Let me check and see if we could get a studio." That was always the network guys. It's always just cool to the point of near being in a coma. Let's see if I can get a studio. And the next thing I know, my big boss, who was my best friend at the network, Keith calls me one day, and I thought it was going to be, "Thanks for getting us Fred Schneider." Keith says, "Don't ever book a guest without telling me again." I said, "I didn't tell anyone I was going to book a guest. I said, do you want?" They were that kind of hipster. You know what I mean? It's like you could say, "Hey, Crosby, Stills, and Nash are over at my house cleaning the pool. Do you want to come send a crew?" "Don't ever tell Crosby, Stills, and Nash to call us again." What about Neil Young? He's kind of a no, we don't want him. We don't want. So there was that thing. You know what I mean? They were just too cool for the room. That was my one time I pitched one. Trying to think if there was. It's eluding me now if there was a second, but there may have been a second. But we got a lot of great musicians over the years, and that's when we knew we were on a roll. When you start getting calls from Metallica,
Oh, no
and the talent
kidding.
coordinator thought it was the editor screwing with her.
Oh,
I swear. She's like, "Nina," and it's like, "Hey, we're Metallica, and we want to be on Space Ghost."
You guys, I don't have time for this shit.
Lars is just
Ring, ring, ring. "Hi, Nina." Yeah. Saul Abramowitz at William Morris. "You just hung up on Metallica."
Oh my God, it was really them.
So the rest of the day in the hall, everyone's consoling Nina.
I hung up on Metallica.
She was inconsolable. I couldn't stop laughing. Does that come off like the bad guy in, what was that, the movie Seven? A man came up to me on the subway the other day. Nice man, lonely, just wanting to make small talk, the weather. I didn't realize I had thrown up all over him. He was not happy. I couldn't stop laughing. Ooh, creepy. What do we have, a minute left?
about that, but
I know you're exhausted from your job today.
Oh yes, I'm telling you.
Daddy just puts that bitch on automatic pilot.
I told
We're
you
off
I
to
wasn't going to even need to be here.
Bonanzaville. Any which? There have been a lot of fun moments, but I'm at the age now where I don't remember them.
Good times.
I have two quick questions. The first one, so I know they kind of gave you a little bit of like free reign when you were recording the episodes.
Oh my God.
When it came to doing like the albums, when you did like the cartoon planet all.
Oh no, don't tell me children were in here. Did children
Oh,
slip
no,
in
no.
here again? It's a dirty show. They should have told you, "Oh God, here comes Dad." Here comes linebacker dad to chase down Space Ghost. How dare you offend my wife? We're Quakers. Okay, so they did give me latitude, which was nice. Free reign came around like when you just blurt stuff out, and you're on multiple takes anyway. One of my favorite things, it sounds dumb to say, but I always liked working with Pete Smith. I think Pete didn't always like working with me because of the riffs. But one of the things you look for when you know you nailed it, Pete would always do this. On we go. On we go. You see, it reminded me of Norm Macdonald. Had that kind of, this just in. The police have now determined that Madonna is a serial whore. And that was this guy that was like reading every time with Pete. It was like, okay, on we go. On we go.
Could you imagine trying to rein him in anyways? Like
like the Aqua Teen, the antenna riff, that whole thing was totally unrehearsed.
Oh,
I just blurred
too many cokes.
Totally blurred it. All just out. And it was Dave's suggestion who said, pitch William Morris when you get pushed off by Frylock. So the whole way down, it's like, by the way, if you want to find out more about me, call WilliamMorris.com in New York. Thank you guys for coming.
That's it. Give them a round of applause.
Thank you.
I told them I wasn't needed. You proved
photo
it.
op at 4, right?
Oh yeah, photo ops at
actually,
4.
no, I was.
Oh, what? I'm sorry.
Photo op. It says right after this.
Oh,
so,
right after.
Right after this.
Right after. That's
So,
what they told me.
Would you like me to do your makeup?
So much for having to shake the dew off the lily.
But everybody, George Lowe. Give him a round.
Thank
of
you,
applause.
guys.
Amazing.
Thank you all very much.